What's up, y'all? I got these clips that I found on TikTok that are, yeah, some of them are old, some of them are new. So, and in the background, if you hear doors, that's my son. I'm still working on getting better sound equipment and everything. It's been quite the trial there. So I'm gonna be working with what I got, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it's the best you could do, right? So, all right, let's get to it.
What if I told you David Bowie predicted Kanye West 5 years before he was even born? And no, I'm not saying I necessarily believe it, but hear me out because this is one of the craziest rabbit holes in
Chill.
music history. In 1972, David Bowie released The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust. The album cover shows Bowie standing beneath a glowing sign that reads K West. And here's the rational explanation. It was the sign for a real business on that street in London. But here's where people start connecting the dots. The first song on the album is called 5 Years. The album came out in June of 1972. Kanye West was born exactly 5 years later. Coincidence? Probably. But then, people point out something even stranger. Bowie spent his entire career creating larger-than-life characters. Ziggy Stardust wasn't just a musician, it was an idea, a symbol, an artist who blurred the line between reality and performance. Now, think about Kanye. Love him or hate him, he's done the exact same thing. He's never just made music. He's built personas, challenged culture, changed fashion, made people question where the artist ends and the character begins. That's why this theory survives. Not because people think Bowie literally had some crystal ball, but because history has a strange way of repeating itself. Every generation seems to produce one artist who doesn't just make songs. They become a full-blown cultural phenomenon. Maybe Bowie wasn't predicting Kanye. Maybe people are just recognizing a pattern, or maybe the stories we tell after the fact are how we make sense of greatness. Whether you think it's the craziest coincidence ever or one of the greatest artistic mysteries of all time, I want to know, is this just confirmation bias or is there something we're missing here? Let me know down below what you think.
All right, so I totally get that whole thing, but I really think that if a person looks hard enough into something, they're gonna find what they're looking for. Meaning, I'm looking in the Bible and I come to realize that 10 years later, it stated that on this day this person would be here, but if you look at it and say it's 19 whatever, yeah, you're gonna make it work. It's gonna fit. And I think a lot of people see what they want to see or read a little too much into things. Now, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. And I want to be. Because I want Bowie to predict Kanye. I want that to be true. But I'm finding it kind of hard to see that. It's hard. I mean, I have a very conspiracy mind, but I don't know about that. That one's a hard one.
It shows the genius of our ancient
Dude, that's cool as
civilization.
shit.
The ancients understood the flat plane that we live on. They understood the holographic sky that resides over us.
I want one of those.
Astronomers navigated the stars with astonishing precision. The ancients had a deep understanding of this holographic system simulation that we live
That's
inside
awesome.
of. You are looking at a futuristic marvel from the past. The ancients understood the power that the stars and luminaries have on our emotions and physiology. It seems the further we go back in history, the more technologically advanced we were.
Dude, that would be awesome. What? It'd be cool if the world was like that. take it.
Mud fossils, but they're not bones. They're entire beings petrified in sediment. Organs, skin, muscle tissue, some with cellular structures still visible under microscope. Discovered in mountains, cliffsides, deserts, often dismissed by mainstream science. But look again. Massive limbs, toes, ribs, eyelids,
Would that, bring a little bit of realism to, let's find out if we could get blood from a stone, because petrified people, old giants maybe, if we got dinosaurs, maybe dinosaur blood, who knows, it could be, why not, I'd like to think so.
sealed shut in stone, caves shaped like skulls, hills with bone marrow core, mountains with vertebrae. These aren't natural formations, these are corpses, buried, hardened, encoded in rock. And they all point to one thing. Something enormous died suddenly and was flash entombed in mud. How does living tissue turn to stone? Answer!
You guys seen Dr. Stone? They all got petrified.
Petrified.
Rapid mineral replacement. Usually takes eons, but under the right conditions. High frequency, sudden pressure, saturated, iron-rich sediment, you get instant petrification.
You guys see cats come up here? I have 4 of them. I'm sorry, but they own the house, not me. You know how it goes.
It's the same tech used to make artificial stone today, except this happened on a global scale during the mud flood. Fossils aren't dead, they're dormant, and the system doesn't want you near them. Mythology speaks of titans, beings of immense scale who walked before the age of man, because if we remember what we're standing on, we remember what they killed to make room for us. The flood wasn't just about Tartaria, it was about wiping the past completely. It was a mass extinction, not just of people, but of giants, gods, original beings, and organic tech. Everything too big, too ancient, too free, collapsed under the weight of a sound that shook the Earth's bones. Cool. Then they buried it, rewrote the map, taught us we evolved from monkeys and that the bones in the ground are prehistoric lizards. No, they were witnesses and they were silenced in stone. And when the resonance wave hit, the energy hit them too. It calcified their cells, turned blood to mineral, flesh to rock, that now we walk on their backs.
Yes, I think the people in the past were way more advanced than what we put them off to be. Really. If you look at it, just the way they did their art of the hieroglyphics that they have in Egypt, it's just phenomenal. That alone, that's way advanced from a monkey and a stick. You know what I'm saying? Drawn in the mud. It's just, I think they're hiding a lot from us.
Build cities on their chests, mine stone from their skulls. The Earth's terrain is not just rock and dirt, it's biological ruin.
Shout out to Roger at Mud Fossil.
Some hills bleed iron when cracked like oxidized blood. Some stones release smells, decayed rock, ammonia, when split. That's not geology, that's decomposition. But we're taught to call it natural, to pave over it, to never ask what mountain that used to be. But some of them, they're still here. You can feel them when you touch the rock, and they remember. After the mud flood, the world was empty. Cities with no people, buildings with no owners.
Yep.
Infrastructure intact, but lifeless. Then came the orphans, thousands of them, shipped across continents on trains, alone, silent, reassigned. But who were they? Where did they come from? No parents, no records, no past, just children seeded into the ruins.
That's another thing, that orphan train. Oh my God. That alone. Whew.
And here's the horror. These weren't just orphans, they were replacements. The new population, the post-reset blank slates, told nothing, taught obedience, given names, jobs, uniforms, programmed to forget.
Okay, quick question. Now, we have the orphan trains that, everybody's heard of and seen. Do you think they were cloned? Do you think the kids were in embryos and were grown and then put on this train and did what they're saying, which is start a whole new civilization. I mean, teach them all new things and tell them to forget about the past, but they were clones. Or do you think that it was the whole war thing? You know, that the fathers went to war, they took the mothers and put them in the insane asylums, and then they took the kids and was like, okay, this is it. Or, or, or there was a whole bunch of kids and they shipped them off. I mean, what do you think? I'm down for a discussion on this. Tell me what you think, because I have my thoughts, and I honestly think it was a cloning program, and it got a little crazy. They got too many, and they're like, okay, here we go, and they just flooded everybody with them.
You know, they say the devil's in the details. Well, for some reason, NASA, along with the high religious priests of scientism, are obsessed with the number 666. So let's start with the so-called facts we're taught in school. We're told the Earth is orbiting around the Sun and moving at 66,600 miles per hour. That is the Earth's orbital speed around the Sun. Alright, well, like always, it's just a coincidence. Now, Earth's axial tilt is 23.4, but when you subtract it from 90-degree angle, or right angle, you get 66.6. Again, next up is curvature per mile drop. Now, according to the Pythagorean theorem, each mile is an 8-inch drop. 8 inches converted to feet is 0.66667 feet. If you take a look at the Antarctic and Arctic circles, it is 66.6 degrees north and 66.6 degrees south. Let's direct your attention to go over the diameter of the moon. It is 2,160 miles, supposedly. But if you do 6 times 6 times 60, it equals 2,160. And if you thought we were done, don't worry, there's plenty more. Speed of sound in knots equals 666 knots. Earth's circumference in nautical miles, 21,600 miles. Again, you get 600 times 6 times 6. How far is Mars from the Sun? 1.666 astronomical units. From Mercury, the Sun appears to be 6.66 times brighter. And you can't forget that time the astronaut, or Peggy Whitson, spent 666 days in space.
By the time she lands in September, her tally will be 666 days in space. 166 days.
Of course, they soon realized that was a bit too reckless and obvious on their part, and changed it officially the next day. Now, the gravity theory was fabricated by Isaac Newton in the year 1666. And what's the story you believe? An apple fell on his head? Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing occult about that. This isn't just a few examples. We're talking hundreds of units of measurements with 666 in them. Like, what are the odds? Or should I say, how gullible does one have to be to actually buy that? In case you haven't realized, our entire reality is infiltrated with satanic numerology and symbolism. The Washington Monument is 66,660 inches tall with a...
Do you think that maybe they made it that way? Like, you know, they were like, we're going to make everything equal 666, no matter what it is. So we have to figure out how to design a program, a way of learning, a way of measurement that this equals 666, and it's going to be in everything. And they just designed it that way. Or do you think they're making up numbers and they're just like, yeah, it's this, and they figure out all the dimensions and all the measurements and everything to come out to 666 because they're showing tribute to whatever they're worshiping or trying to invoke? I mean, I don't know. I think I'm way off, but it always sounds like every time I watch videos of any sort that have to do with, you know, 666 or the devil, or, you know, that they're sitting there constantly showing tribute to what they worship, it's always 666, and everything that they come up with and show always ends on what they're saying, no matter what it is. It's always 666 somewhere. So maybe it's the fact that they designed it that way, that they designed the measurement scale to do that, the number of inches, they built it that tall because they're like, hey, build it this tall to be this. I mean, I don't know. It's It's crazy because it's always 666 everywhere, no matter what they're doing. Fucking nuts.
Parameter being 666 inches. You can't make this shit up. And then you go into all these brands and company logos, right? That have the 666 in everything they do. Taco Bell has 666 in their logo. I think we all know enough about Disney. And then we have these fake Monster energy drinks, right? The Claw, the 666 in Hebrew numericals. And then it's the same thing with Volkswagen logo and so on. It's pretty interesting, right? It's almost like a lot of these major corporations won't buy or sell unless they have the mark of the beast, the 666, on their logo. Now where's that from again? Revelation 13:16. He required everyone, great and small, rich and poor, slave and free, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead. And no one could buy or sell anything without the mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. His number is 666. It is all connected, folks. You are living in a satanic system. The nihilism, the heliocentric model, the NASA deception, the evolution theory, this entire age of degeneracy. None of it is random. It is strategic mind control. From birth, you're groomed to worship science as your god, to believe that you're a random accident on a spinning water ball with no divine inherent purpose, and that you're the descendant of monkeys, and then you end up trusting the very agencies that mock you. You've been lied to about who and where you are. We are the center of God's divine creation, and they spend billions of dollars each and every year to hide that from you. You were placed here to do more than just consume, chase pleasure, and work a slave job for 40 plus years to then quietly die in debt. You can believe this is all just coincidence and continue walking in your slumber like the rest of the world. Or you can wake up and start asking why everything from NASA to Nickelodeon is soaked in satanic numerology. Your call.
Good one. A chip within a chip. What? Who the fuck thinks this shit? It's a black mirror. Huh. That's effed up.
So this whole LeBron trade,
God,
him
not
going
this.
to Philly, you guessed it, it's a ritual.
How?
Kobe Bryant ritual.
Now I gotta know.
So he announced that he is going to Philly, which is a weird move.
Why Philly?
Why Philly? Oh yeah, Kobe
I am not a sports guy by any means, so this means nothing to me. It's just words. I honestly don't care, but I put it in there just in case somebody that's watching is a basketball fan and wants to hear about it. This means nothing to me.
Bryant's from Philadelphia.
Interesting. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
So he announced this on the 24th, and he signed for $8 million.
Come
Damn.
on.
So you mean to tell me that Kobe Bryant wore the number 8 and 24? Huh.
Sounds like a high-level Masonic ritual.
Interesting. Let's keep moving. Philadelphia. We all know that Kobe's from there and whatnot, right? Right before Kobe passed, what did LeBron do?
He passed him, and Kobe passed.
Okay, so from what I've seen of these, I know I said I'm not a sports guy, but from what I've seen of these, that Kobe died in a helicopter accident, RIP, and LeBron has sacrificed a lot. At least that's what I'm seeing. Okay, I don't know what he does in his life, but I know that they were saying that he lost some people, and they have a clip of him saying, yo, you gotta sacrifice the ones that are closest to you. I do think there is some part of magic, worshipping of a deity of whatever. Don't know which one. Don't want to say. But I think that is a very strong possibility that they are doing magic, that they are worshiping something, and if they are, look at, they say he's the best. He got what he wanted. I mean, what? You hating on the guy for doing what he did and achieving what he wanted and becoming the best? Or are you trying to figure out how he became the best, why he became the best, and how you could do the same? I mean, is that what this is all ending to be? You know, what's the end deal here? I mean, so he got transferred. Does it matter if he plays where he's at now or plays for another person? I mean, come on. That's how I see it. I could be off. You guys could hate on me. You could tell me whatever, and I'll take it. But what I see is a guy who probably did some magic of some sort. That's what I'm going to call it. And does worship a certain deity of some sort. And he got what he wanted. Did it cost him something? Probably. But he got it. He did it. And he's still doing it. I mean, training gets you so far. And yeah, you could practice. And they say through practice you become the best. But sometimes I think there's a little more to it than just training.
The next day,
He passes Kobe Bryant for the scoring title.
you know what number that was?
33.
33.
Yep, 33,000 and something else.
Something, yeah.
He passes him. The next
Lucky number
day,
33.
Kobe Bryant dies. And then he passed his scoring title where? In Philadelphia. It was in Philadelphia.
Oh,
yes.
get the fuck out of here.
Yes. In that same game, they had a snake on the floor, cut up in 8 pieces. Zoom in. There's the snake right there.
Wait, where?
It's right there.
It's right here.
Right by LeBron.
So it's a snake cut up in 8 pieces.
Why is that even there? What's the significance? Besides, oh, you passed Kobe, but that's kind of disrespectful, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's
If
the
I was
black-
Kobe, I would be like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
I
a-
mean, you cut me up. Like,
Yeah,
huh?
I'm the Black Mamba, and you cut up the Black Mamba.
Ah.
Then, Kobe's father, Jelly Bean Bryant. What number did Jelly Bean Bryant wear?
Don't say.
23.
23.
Now, what number does LeBron wear?
23.
Oh, 23. So you mean that he's going to be wearing the same number for the same team now? And he's not only passing Kobe and using a Kobe ritual, logos, but now his father too? Gets even weirder. There is a tattoo on LeBron's chest, right here. That is the boule.
Oh, so he's a part of the boule.
Now, does anybody want to take a wild guess where the boule was started? In Philadelphia.
In Philly.
Yes.
Sure.
Get the fuck out of
You
here.
can't tell me that's not a ritual.
The boule, which means a council of noblemen, and then in French, it's ball. Now, here's the theory. The theory is the reason that he keeps playing is because once he stops playing, there's some type of sacrifice that he has to give up. His son,
That's what I
a couple
talked
years ago,
about.
cardiac arrest. So he keeps playing. Now he's in his final 2 years. Here's the thing. He says on X, this is my last decision. I'm not going for the money. I'm not going for family. What am I really playing for at this point? I still want to sacrifice. I still want to work. I still want to grind. I still want to compete, to win, to have a chance at the feeling of winning.
Made sure he put that in there first line.
He said, I want to sacrifice. How many years did he play for the Lakers for?
How many?
Don't say 8.
8. And what year is this year that he's going into?
2027?
The 24th.
Oh, this is his 24th year.
This is 24th.
No, that's too many.
That's too many.
That's too many.
It's too many.
Okay. Again, words. He wants to sacrifice. Now, Kobe Bryant, I don't know what he did. LeBron, if he says he wants to sacrifice, well, of course everybody's going to turn around and say, there it is. See, he's saying it. But words are designed that way. I mean, like, good morning. Why would you wake up and have a good morning? You're not mourning anything. You know, I mean, it's the same way. If I say, I want to sacrifice, I want to be the best, I'm willing to sacrifice whatever it takes, I'm not talking about sacrificing anything around me. I'm talking about sacrificing the fun, sacrificing all the food I like, all that I sacrifice. Am I saying that's what he's talking about? I don't know. But you're going to find what you want if you look hard enough. And you're going to make it fit. Because it will. It's designed that way. I think they do it on purpose. I do. And I think these guys are onto something. But there's always a doubt, and always have that doubt. Look at it in another way. Look at it from a different point of view. Just so you're not so focused on, yeah, that's it. LeBron is doing this and this and this. Look at it from another way. It makes it a little bit more comforting and a little bit more entertaining than a constant slammed in your face. They're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this, and you're just like, Look at it from another way. You never know. You might figure out what everybody's looking for. That's all I'm saying.
Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, he flew 1,200 miles with the wind in his back into the inside of this planet. Not a molten core, far from it.
I love the story.
Continental shells bigger than on the surface, seas that were equal to ours, and he took 300 photographs and brought them back, and I tried to see them, and Franklin Birch, who was at the National Archives, would not let me in. Oh, I got in the cage, but I couldn't look at anything.
What an ass.
Caldwell found those records and read them in 1940, and he took his round wing plane in and went right through the Earth and came out at the South Pole in a 125-mile opening there. That's one thing he did. I told you that was 1940. That was a great accomplishment of the round wing plane at that point.
Dude, to fly through the Earth, that would be awesome. The things you would see. Oh, see, that's where I think that's true. There's probably an opening to the Earth, and there's more than what we're told.
We hadn't had to fight a war. We hadn't had to do anything. 1952, I hesitate to tell you. I've had 3 attempts on my life, and I don't know if I'll walk away from this meeting if I say any more. I've had the needle, I've been poisoned, and I've had people sent to kill me.
The black cube isn't just real, it's documented. So what are some of the most credible theories behind this object? Well, one theory is that it's an experimental platform, possibly surveillance or communications technology being tested by the military. I mean, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base has long housed the Air Force's Foreign Technology Division, allegedly, where recovered materials are sent. Some believe the object was part of a non-attributable drone swarm, basically programs tested without official acknowledgement, even from air traffic control. But if it's just tech, why the redactions for national defense and foreign policy in FAA documents? Doesn't quite add up. Another theory is non-human intelligence. In 2014, Navy pilots from the USS Roosevelt encountered what they described as dark cubes inside clear spheres, hovering at high altitudes, unmoving in the wind, and then accelerating instantly. Those were recorded on FLIR. Military personnel confirmed the radar tracks. Now, 10 years later, we have a similar description over Wright-Pat. Coincidence or a pattern? And then there's the theory of a symbolic object. So the black cube has deep roots in human culture.
Explaining the bizarre predator theory. Humans were never at the top of the food chain. We just convinced ourselves we were. Deep down, something in you already knows that. Have you ever felt watched in an empty room? That chill for no reason? That sudden urge to turn around in the dark? You tell yourself it's nothing, but your body doesn't believe you.
Dude, I'm a big guy into ghosts and all that. So this is right up my alley. I love this stuff. I get scared easily, but I love it.
It never did. This theory says that feeling isn't paranoia, it's memory. Something so old, it's written into your DNA. Because something hunted us, something so intelligent, so perfectly evolved, it left no trace, no fossils, no evidence, no record in any history book. Nothing except the fear it buried deep inside every single one of us. That instinct when someone stares too long, the anxiety that hits from nowhere at 3 a.m. The feeling that something is standing just behind you, not glitches, echoes of something that never stopped hunting. And here's the part nobody wants to sit with. Maybe it didn't disappear. Maybe it never needed to. Maybe it just learned something far more effective than chasing us through the dark. Maybe it learned how to make us forget it was ever there. So next time you feel that chill, are you really sure you're alone?
You know, I think spirits are there. I think ghosts. I think entities. I think it all interdimensional. I honestly think pictures taken, and you know, you get the figure wherever, somewhere. I think the camera focuses on another dimension and it catches it just for that 1 second. And, you know, maybe in that dimension, that person's standing there, which is usually your mom, your grandma, your grandpa, your passed away child. Because maybe in that dimension, they didn't pass away, they're still alive. But you're seeing kind of like echoes of them. And when you take a photo, it may just be able to take it due to the frame rate, the light, the light coming in, all that, and it just matches just right to where it hits that one part, you know, or it's catching it to where your eye doesn't, and it's constantly happening, but it's happening, I don't know, at a certain speed that we can't see. I don't know. Honestly, I don't. Sorry, I had to stretch my leg, my foot. I could explain afterwards. I'll have a video explaining everything. But, dude, I'm telling you, these conspiracy theories and thoughts that everyone's coming up with, I could go with. I could. I have a hard time going with not. Honestly. It doesn't make sense most of the time. But like I said, look at it through a different point of view so that you get 2 ways or 3 ways. And it makes it a lot better. It does. But then I had it going. I'm back. Sorry. Having some technical difficulties. So, let me see here.
World and against evil spirits and heavenly places. And then what the devil tell Jesus in Luke 4. Satan took Jesus on top of the mountain and said, I'll give you all these kingdoms because they are mine to give. You want to know what's so crazy about this verse? Jesus did not deny that, John. He didn't say, oh, this is my father's. Jesus was like, no. That's why in John 12:31, he said he is the ruler of this world. So when we talking about Satan being the prince of the air, or the prince of this world, what are we talking about? Radio waves, Wi-Fi, internet, Starlink, satellites over your head. All of this is under Satan's control, bro. And if you read the Bible, remember in Daniel 10, when it was a principality assigned over a specific nation, I think it was Persia, right? Persia and Greece. Check that out. Solomon literally states, ain't nothing new under the sun. The same stuff that was going on back then is happening right now. We got principalities over certain parts of this world, certain territories, certain oceans, and of course the skies. Did y'all know that we got spiritual lines drawn all across this world? And what these ley lines do is connect ancient ruins or ancient sites and connect them to today's holy site or significant sites. We got Egyptian obelisks in Rome. We got Egyptian obelisks in Washington, D.C., and New York. Almost every ancient culture drew these exact same lines. Look at the ARPANET in 1969. Look at Starlink today. It's literally a web. Whatever these ancient cultures was doing and drawing back in the day, we literally just built it in the skies and on this internet, physically. Now look, I ain't telling you what to believe, and I never ever was the one to force religion down your throat, right? But in Matthew 24, Jesus literally said, when the Son of Man return, it'll be just like in the days of Noah. And what happened in the days of Noah? We got giants. We got a whole bunch of wickedness right now that's running rampant on this earth, and God had to wipe it out and start it all over. Now I want y'all to look around, do your own research. We got the same obelisk, same eye, same pyramid, same towers, same webs, implanting chips in people's heads, man mixing with technology, biotech, money you ain't gonna be able to touch or buy, digital money. a pope unifying all religions. Bro, America is literally the new spiritual Babylon. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood. We're not fighting against skin and bone. I truly believe these corporations, these companies are literally trying to open up a spiritual portal of some sort to fight God. And of course, in the end, we win. We marry Christ. If you don't believe in Jesus Christ, look at the Bible, look at everything I'm telling you. And I want you to come to that conclusion that Jesus is king. And he coming back very soon. Everything I just told y'all, everything in this mini-series. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And whoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life. Now you don't got no choice to say that you never heard the gospel. The beast system might be here quicker than you knew it. So get right with him.
The Bible has such cool things if you do it right. I mean, honestly, it does. You follow it and you get all these cool, I don't know, superpowers. I mean, it's crazy. Who knows? Could very well be true. Could be the answer to it all. Could be. I believe that's true.
If you believe you're on a round ball spinning in outer space, stop scrolling. This video is for you. Now remember, the only reason you believe you're in outer space is because someone you respect told you you were. Other than this, you have no proof, and you are about to see that that isn't proof at all.
Any experiment today can prove that the globe doesn't exist. It's impossible.
But then, how can we determine the real shape of the planet?
I think they came out with a 3D
CTC
render of it.
researchers collected information on the movement of the sun, the moon, and the stars in different parts of the planet. In this research, which lasted several years, images were recorded by cameras installed in all these places during the day and at night.
We found several differences in the trajectory of the sun. One of the most significant was between Australia and Argentina, which are in the same tropic.
While in Argentina, the sun moves at about 180 degrees. In Australia, it moves almost 270 degrees, which would be impossible in a spherical Earth model. Another significant example was in the Canary Islands, where a time-lapse of the stars showed a circular movement incompatible with the spherical model of the Earth.
This movement would only be justified if the place were near the poles in a spherical Earth, which is not the case.
We do not understand that with so many discrepancies we have found, and with the technology available today, no researcher, no scientist, no astronomer, no space agency in the world has perceived any of this.
The discrepancy in the comparison of the trajectory of the sun and the stars between the different points when related to its geographical position in the current world map allowed to generate a new geographical model of the continents. In this model, the continents present a size and position somewhat different from the current world map, having the North Pole to the center and the other continents around it.
Okay, so here at the top, we have a map that was generated by the researchers at the Ziggurat Technology Center in Argentina. And at the bottom, we have a map, an ancient Chinese map from 10 centuries ago. You see the striking resemblance? Extraterrestrials are not coming from a place called outer space. They are coming from the extra terrains that you see here that are outside of the border that surrounds us that we know as Antarctica. This is the reason no one can go and explore Antarctica, because you will find out that we are not on a round ball in outer space. I have 300 videos on this subject alone. Go and check.
I have a theory. I can prove that the Earth is flat.
That man was sweating, so I'm going to believe him.
We have been lied to for centuries. I created a black hole.
Gotta love AI.
Secret military base ran mind control experiments on children, and the government still won't release the files. Camp Hero on Long Island was officially decommissioned in 1969, but former workers claim underground levels stayed active for decades after. They say children were used in psychological experiments, some involving time manipulation. Whistleblowers described a chair that could allegedly influence a person's perception of reality itself. Local residents reported strange electromagnetic disturbances for years. The base was sealed and buried under sand in the 1980s.
Sorry.
To this day, the lower levels have never been fully excavated. What's still buried under Camp Hero?
The dome that we're in, I want to say, I call it like a little snow glass. You know that little thing yes, that that's what we're in.
It, yeah.
Or even more deeper than that little board game bobble, and you have to bobble and it has the little bubbles and it's all around across. That's exactly what we're set up in.
So you saying it's multiple places with the dome over them?
Yep.
Come on, Chief. You gotta get down. I can't have you up here. Sorry, guys.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Are you also saying that there are portals to jump to both?
Stargates.
What is a Stargate?
You ain't never watched the TV series Stargate? The military was able to access the Anunnaki Stargates to be able to go through different time warps and stuff. And they got one in Area 51. It tells you everything in that. That's another thing that they dropped in the 90s. So when I was, again, let's go back to where I'm from. I'm from San Angelo, Texas. It's also considered as a Indian reservation. My grandma, one thing with my grandma on my mom's side, last name's Washington. You know, she said, I remember when Jesse Jackson had announced that, oh, we from Africa, all that stuff. My grandma was pissed.
I'm going to make the entire world make sense to you. I'm going to oversimplify some things. The people with the money control the politics. Most of you understand that. Media, all this crap is owned by very, very rich people, and they basically decide who gets to be in power. The people with the money for the longest time understood they could make more money if they improved the lives and improved the quality of Western society. But like all things, the pendulum swings. And it got to the point where people got a little bit lazy. They wanted health care. They wanted to only work certain hours. They wanted good living conditions. And one day, the rich people woke up and realized, wait, we can make more money now by destroying Western civilization, because the people in the West now are very decadent, and they've started to notice how corrupt everything is. You know, we could just replace all of them with third worlders. Third worlders don't complain about governmental corruption, ever. And anybody who understands the world understands that the number one thing people with money and power want is more money and more power. We may not see each other again, so make sure to follow this page.
I'm gonna end it on that because that was perfect. I'm sorry for the sound. I'm sorry for the way that the mic. Oh, that makes it a little bit better. Sorry for the way the mic. Nope, that's crap. I'm trying to get better stuff. That's why I'm doing it. It's been a while since I've been on here, so. But I'm gonna leave it right here. I'm sorry again for the sound. Sorry for the kitties coming in, but Chief Cheeto likes it. And remember, look at things in multiple ways, because you'll learn more, you'll be open to more, and you're going to find more. That's all I could say. Thanks again, and if you guys like this, please hit the like button. And I'm going to be doing more. Just let me know in the comments if you like it or not. And I'll have a Patreon here. I'm probably going to upload this to Patreon and some other stuff. I'll have music going, all that. So, all right, guys. Have a great day. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.